Emma, Scream Queens is totally having a moment on TikTok right now. I mean, would you ever want to bring Chanel back in some form back to the screen?
I'm always thinking about ways we could bring Chanel back to the screen.
Chanel, I'd like to introduce you to Jennifer.
I'm sorry, Kappa doesn't participate in the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, but you do now.
I feel like I'm ready to have her rise again. I don't know, but it's not up to me. But no, I mean, it's funny because that show is now so long ago, and I still see things coming up on my Instagram of people just kind of like loving it and parodying it and like doing TikToks and all that.
These are my minions. I don't know their names. I don't want to know their names. They are known as Chanel number 2.
Chanel number 3.
Chanel number 5.
I'm Chanel number 1, obvi.
And it just makes me so happy that she's really stood the test of time. So
She's had so many iconic lines. That's why too.
Sure.
You know? That's so awesome. And John, you and Emma, of course, actually have a mutual bestie, her Scream Queens co-star, Leah Michelle. It was so awesome seeing you guys reunite for A Spring Awakening. Do you see that gang getting back together for another project, like ever or at all? I'm thinking maybe we could get like a season of Horror Story with you, Leah, and Emma.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Cool.
I'll say yeah. I'm saying yes here, folks. You heard it here first.
I want you guys back on stage. I want to see you guys on stage.
I know. I would love to do something with that gang again. I mean, like doing the reunion has obviously kind of reinvigorated all of us to keep more in touch.
Yeah.
And so there's an epic Spring Awakening text thread that, you know, I always wake up to like 50 texts and I'm like, wait, who is, oh, it's the Spring Awakening text thread. Yep. It's alive again.
Yes, and I agree with you, Emma. It would be amazing to see you guys back on stage together in something. So hopefully we can manifest that today.
This would be the baby's room.
The house, it's been listed for a while. Why hasn't anyone bought it?
There was an incident.
We don't want to know.
We do.
Emma, obviously this movie revolves around your character and this newborn. I mean, how did you use your own experience as a new mom for this role, and did it kind of unlock any new fears for you off screen?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, for me, yeah, I read this and it was funny because everybody was like nervous to send it to me because I had like just had a baby, and they're like, I don't know what you're gonna think of this. I don't know if you'll be down for this, you know, because I know you just had a baby. But I loved it, and I don't think I've played a mom before. And I was like, I don't know, this just felt like kind of a really like interesting way to do that for the first time. And I felt like there was a lot I could bring to it having just had a child. So obviously that like just rocks your perspective on things.
Totally.
And so to me, I was like, you know, like, let's do it. And I thought it'd be so fun. And I was lucky enough to get to have my son on set with me. So, you know, it's like, I was, you know, working all day, and it's obviously, you know, heavy subject matter, but he was like, you know, the best spot of my day. And my mom would always bring him to have lunch with all of us. And so it was really nice. And it was a nice experience, despite how horrifying the movie looks. Like when I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm so scared. I was like, we had so much fun doing it. I didn't realize it was gonna be so scary.
I was watching like this, like classic, like just hand
I know.
over my face, just waiting for something to pop out. But on that note, I am curious, what do you think is the first project of yours, Emma, that Rhodes will watch when he's old enough? I'm sure it's not Abandoned.
I mean, that's a good question. I feel like with the internet, it's like, I'm gonna have to put parental lock so he's not watching American Horror Story when he's like 6.
Yeah, push Nancy Drew or Aquamarine. You know?
I have like, there's like some like 8-year-olds that have come up to me like, I love Horror Story. And I'm like, hopefully Coven and not like, you know, I don't know, like some of the really scary ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think we'll stick to Aquamarine as his first one. That feels great.
What about the boy? What happened to him?
He was ignored, blamed for the mother's death.
I gotta tell you, I am a scaredy cat, so you can imagine how stressed I was watching this movie. I'm not sure if you guys are getting that reaction from a lot of people today, but it's so amazing to see you guys both in the horror genre again. And Emma, I feel like, you know, Scream Queens and American Horror Story, I mean, that's pretty hard to top. What was it about Abandoned that you just had to say yes?
Well, from the moment I got the script, I was so intrigued by the title. And what I loved about it was, as I was reading it, you know, having done like horror comedy, like, you know, all different kind of subgenres of the genre. I just felt like this really stood out as more of like a psychological thriller. And when I met with the writer and director Spencer Squire, and he really wanted to make something in this realm, but that was super thoughtful, and I really think he did. Like I finished reading the script thinking like, wow, like this is so interesting and entertaining, but also, you know, I feel like it says something, and what that says is I feel like anyone who sees it is going to take away something different. And it really, like, I don't know, I couldn't shake it. Like I was thinking about it long after I read it.
It definitely lingered. I felt that too. And John, obviously you're no stranger to horror films either. How would you say this one matches up, to 10 Cloverfield Lane or even Hush?
Well, I feel like I'm really drawn to horror films that like those films and like this one are really intimate. That if you pare it down, you can almost cut out the supernatural element and you still have a really intriguing and engaging story about this young couple in a crisis. You know, it reminded me of like of a great drama like Ordinary People, or like a familial drama that's really just about people struggling to connect and missing each other and beginning not to trust each other, which is scary enough on its own, but then you layer in the threat of supernatural element within, and it goes to this, you know, whole other level. And that's kind of what I always look for is are the characters interesting? Because, you know, there's lots of great horror movies out there, but I kind of, as an actor, I'm just drawn to what are the people going through, and is that compelling in and of itself?
I'm sure you're also drawn to like who you're going to be working with too, because I feel like I'm always curious on movies like this. What is the vibe actually like on set? Like, do you guys get pretty method, or is it way more lighthearted than we can imagine, you know, between takes?
We're so method.
You know, I don't know.
So not method.
No, we were not.
We'd be like chit-chatting, like, I don't know, reading our books, like girl gabbing, hanging, and then we'd be like, oh, hold on, okay. We'd be like, hold on, we'd be like, stop.
I love that.
We had a really great green room because we did film the whole thing on location in one house. So we really were in this farmhouse for a month making this movie. And there was one room that was just kind of, it was like the hideout where Em and I could go and hang out. It was basically like the all-purpose green room and the hair and makeup room. And it really was the sanctuary for us in between takes, a place to go and kind of joke around and decompress. And I have such fond memories of hanging out in that room. There was a chair in the corner that I would sit in, and then across the room, Emma had this couch, and Emma would be in between reading, because she's a voracious reader, as everybody knows, I'm sure. And in between paragraphs, I feel like, you know, we would just gossip and gab and have a blast. It was really fun, and we needed it because obviously the film is so intense. We needed a safe place to go.